This is a very comfortable sprung mahogany campaign armchair, completely made to come apart, and probably by Ross of Dublin. So let's have a quick look at it. You've got a wonderful sprung seat here to give you lots of comfort. You've got a nice shape to the back to support your lumbar, good padded arms, and it all comes apart quite easily. So let's have a look at that. So now that it's all apart, we can have a bit of a closer look at the chair. We can see the back legs, because they're not round, they need to be fixed into a set position. So they've got mirror plates, and once they're in the position, you then use a little thumb bolt to secure them so they don't turn. They've got a long bolt which goes up into the back, but the back is also supported by the arms. You've got tenons that go into the back, a nice long thumb bolt which is hinged, which is a nice little touch, makes it even easier for packing, which goes all the way through the back into the arm and secures it. And then the base of the arm, again, you've got tenons for extra strength. They go into the seat. You've got another long bolt with a turned handle to one end which further secures it. So the back is held by not only tenons but also nice long steel bolts. For travel, to pack it out even more, the arm post is hinged so it'll fold nice and neatly. So the frame is made of beech, but you've got nice thick mahogany veneer along all of the edges just to finish it. The legs are nicely turned in mahogany, or the back legs shaped, and it's really quite a nice chair. Now, why do we say that it's probably Ross rather than it's definitely by Ross? Well, the design we know is a Ross design. We've had two other chairs to this design before, but they did have some differences to this chair. Now, firstly, they both had Ross labels to them. This one does not have a Ross label, but that is not particularly unusual and doesn't preclude it from being made by Ross of Dublin. We know that they didn't put makers' stamps or plaques on all of their bits of furniture, especially if it was part of a suite of furniture. A few pieces in it may not have been marked. However, it must be said that the other two chairs that we also had numbered marks to them. Typical Ross, unusual numberings like 26, 27 rather than 1, 2, 3 and 4 to locate and identify the different pieces. On this chair you don't particularly need it because it's fairly obvious where each piece goes, and the two front legs, being in turned mahogany, are interchangeable. Other differences, the turning on the other two Ross chairs that we had to this design were a little bit bolder than this. Now, looking at this shape, you wouldn't preclude it from being a Ross piece of turning. I mean, we've seen very similar turnings on other Ross chairs. Could just be that it's a little bit later in date. The other two chairs also had a much more elongated and long S-scroll shaped arm. A little bit extra attention to detail, and the back of the chairs on the two corners were cut out so it was more shaped, and also the other two chairs that we had were a little bit larger than this one. Still, that doesn't mean that this is not Ross. It might just be that this is a later version of the chair and they changed the design ever so slightly. However, having said that, it doesn't have a maker's mark, so we can't say 100% that it is by Ross. But it is a very comfortable armchair. I think any officer who was out on campaign having an armchair with a nice shaped back which really cushions your lumbar, your base of your back, got a nice sprung seat, would find a lot of comfort at the end of the day sitting down in this chair with perhaps a gin and tonic if he's in India or somewhere like that, and just relaxing. So there you go, a very good circa 1875 campaign armchair.